Definitely, as we bring in the smoothest dude on television, our man Mark Jones. Mark, what's happening, brother?
Hey, I'll be waiting for that care package, bro. It's
We
all
got
good.
you.
What are we talking about here?
Come on, we got you, man. A little gin, a little champagne, so you can champagne and campaign, a little bubbling. We got you, man.
Hey, I'm all about popping the bottles in the VIP bottle service all day, every day. I'm waiting for the big parade whenever it comes here in Sacramento, man. You
Oh
know?
boy. Oh
well,
boy.
well, we'll get you a care package before that, Mark. We'll get let's dive into it. Mark, you have the unique perspective of not only covering the Sacramento Kings on a night-to-night basis, but you're still heavily involved with the NBA. You're your ESPN's go-to for big games. Like, what are your thoughts, over the last few years covering the league in what Domantas Sabonis could mean for Sacramento?
Man, I've seen Sabonis from the time he was a rookie in the NBA, and it's ironic that I can remember a couple of times last year talking about Marvin Bagley when fans here in Sacramento were really down or just whatever expressed their opinions about Marvin, and I would always say, you got to pump your brakes sometimes because I covered Sabonis his first couple of years in the NBA, and I can specifically remember when I had an OKC game, and I was meeting with Billy Donovan prior to the game, as we do when we do our national broadcast with ESPN and ABC, and I asked him about Sabonis as I went down the list of players on his roster, and he said, "Mark, love the kid, but damn it, he can't stay on the floor. I put him on the floor, and in 3 minutes, he's got 4 fouls. I got to sit him down. He can't stay in the game."
Mm-hmm.
And then fast forward to a couple of years after that, in a trade later, here he is. He's a 2-time All-Star. So he was on a very steep learning curve, and all he needed was reps. Yeah. He always had the ability. So, in a strange way to compare Bagley to him, and now for him to be in a Sacramento uniform, I find a little bit ironic. But, Sabonis is a guy that obviously comes from great basketball lineage. Great skills, great basketball IQ, a very talented passer, one of only 3 players in the NBA to average over 18, 12, and 5 assists. The other one is Jokic. So, or Giannis, pardon me. So, I think Sacramento is getting a guy that is a bona fide and qualified, certified all-star. I think the problem that people have with it in terms of fandom here in Sacramento is that they're giving up a guy who's going to be an all-star in a year or two in Tyrese Halliburton. But like I said on the show yesterday during the game, I said, hey, man, you can't be balling on a budget. You know what I mean? You can't get an all-star for a fifth of bootleg or Mad Dog or 2020, whatever. You can't. You got to give something up to get something, right? So they gave up a future all-star to get the present all-star. And I love Tyrese Halliburton. I absolutely love his skill level. He is going to be an all-star in a year or two, however long it takes. He's destined to be an elite player in this league. But, my baseline for management moves and the way that rosters and payrolls are handled is always going to be through the lens of the Miami Heat. That's where I'm from. I've been around the organization, worked for the team for so many years. And Pat Riley, who's the godfather in this department, is always of the opinion, he and Andy Ellisberg that run the show there, you never see them go into rebuilds. It's about winning now. Win now, pay the mortgage later. Because anything else really doesn't count in the NBA. Right. Look at Philadelphia over the years. Trust the process, trust the process. They still don't have anything to show for it. They haven't won anything. So this is a move for the Sacramento Kings about winning sooner rather than later, and I'm okay with it. I like the move that they got it. They got an all-star. It's still to be determined how they're going to play with Sabonis. Right. Because now I think stylistically they have to look a little bit different because he's a guy that is really good with passing. You want to take advantage of his passing skills. I don't think De'Aaron Fox has ever played with a big who's as talented passing the ball, averaging over 5 assists a game. So you can run him out at the top of the key on delay sets. You can run him off the elbow, run splits off of him, and get cutters coming off of him. Or you can throw it to him on the low block and run offense through him. So it opens up a lot of different avenues for them to run offense.
Yeah, that's some good stuff, Mark. And you mentioned De'Aaron Fox a little bit. And one of the things that I think about here, getting Sabonis, is his ability with what he can do just naturally, being gifted, scoring and rebounding, things of that nature. But his ability just with the way he plays the game to possibly unlock De'Aaron Fox a little bit more than he already is. Can you talk about, because you've seen Sabonis a lot, what he can do possibly to help De'Aaron Fox raise his game even more?
Yeah, I think De'Aaron now has the ability, and as tricky as this may sound, and it was a little bit of an issue with Tyrese as the primary ball handler, when you got a front court player or post player, 4 or 5, who's a secondary ball handler like Sabonis, who's a talented passer, now you're getting De'Aaron Fox 2 or 3 easy layups per game, just off his cutting, off his quickness. Sabonis is a very, very efficient and productive player in dribble handoff situations. So he puts it on the deck, dribbles towards the wing going to his right, hand it off to Fox, coming to his left, coming downhill. You open up even a nice 2-man game possibility with Sabonis as a little bit of a lob threat, because he's an athletic player. He's pretty dynamic. He's not jumping through the gym, Luke, but he's pretty dynamic in that sense. He can stretch the floor vertically a little bit. So, I think De'Aaron Fox has, there's going to be an assimilation period for both of them. And I think when the dust settles on it and clears, that it has the potential for making him a better player. And frankly, Sacramento diversifying their offense right now. The Kings are primarily 5 out and heavy on the pick and roll. I think by getting Sabonis in there, it opens up Alvin Gentry's playbook a whole lot more. And Alvin is one of the best innovative offensive minds in the game, guys. Trust me when I tell you that. So now he's got a bigger bag to dip into.
Mark Jones with us here on D'Lo and KC on ESPN 1320. We've talked a lot about what Sabonis could do for De'Aaron. What does De'Aaron need to do to get the most out of Domantas Sabonis now? Obviously the best player that he's been able to share a floor with on a night-to-night basis.
Yeah, it's kind of like what I alluded to, that I think De'Aaron will have to learn how to make the game easier for himself. And sometimes the hardest thing, a primary ball handler like that, is learning to give it up a little bit to make the game easier for you, so that he's not doing all the burden of creating doesn't have to be on him all the time. So I think once he gets used to that, then his numbers jump to a whole nother plateau. He goes from maybe being a 23, 24 point a game guy to maybe 25, 26. And the team as a whole gets diversified. So you're not sitting down on Fox all the time, and he's not seeing so many bodies. Because if you've noticed this year, guys, De'Aaron's playing in a phone booth every game. Like he drives into the paint, man. There's like tons of bodies around him. And even when he's on the perimeter, teams, are blitzing him on pick and rolls. So I think the game gets a little bit easier for him, even though it might not look that way to start off.
Mark, so much has been made about Sabonis coming here, and he's obviously the prize ticket in this trade for the Sacramento Kings. But man, I really like Justin Holiday, and I really like Jeremy Lamb, and I know you've seen these guys as well through your time around the league. Can you talk to the fans a little bit about what they're getting in those two players? Because I think they could be very beneficial to what the Kings are trying to do.
Yeah, Jeremy Lamb has had some productive years. He's coming off a significant injury, and I think he's still getting back to, who he really is. He's in the last year of his contract, so that's a kind of a win-win for Sacramento. If they want to re-sign him, they can. If not, he comes off the books next year. And then Holiday comes from great basketball lineage. His dad, Sean Holiday, I know him, played the league for a little bit, played at Arizona State. He's got 3 sons that are all in the NBA. Great length, 3-and-D. His career 3-point numbers are right around the league average. Hover right around there, maybe a little bit above. But, on a team that's short on wings, the benefit of having Lamb and Holiday in the lineup is that, guys, I feel so sorry for Harrison Barnes. The amount of times in the last couple of years that I've watched really closely, he's had to go up against fours and even fives sometimes. And you guys know HB, he don't complain.
Yeah.
But that's a lot of heavy labor, getting the tar beat out of him a lot of times and having to, sumo wrestle with power forwards as opposed to threes. So when the Kings go small now, they have a few more options that doesn't run a lot of tread off of Harrison Barnes and keeps him a little fresher.
We know the newest Sacramento Kings are in town. Have you gotten word as to whether they're going to be on the floor tonight?
There's a chance they could. I don't know definitively. There's still a lot of moving parts to this, but I think there's a chance they could go tonight. I'll be broadcasting the game tonight with Katie Christensen, and should find out here definitively in a little bit. But I know that those guys are eager to play. Sabonis, in particular, as I said on the broadcast last night, wants to be in Sacramento. That in itself, when you have a two-time All-Star that wants to be here. His wife is from California. I'll just say, without slandering it, I'm not slandering anybody or any particular city, but she was a little bit averse, I'm told, to the chilly climes of Indianapolis.
It's cold out there, Mark. It's cold.
Understandable.
You should see me out here when it gets to about 50. I'm bundled up like it's the Arctic.
I'm sitting out back right now here in Sacramento. It's my Apple Watch says it's 64 degrees. I went from cold, ashy to warm, classy. You know what I mean?
Mark taking the broadcast darker tonight. Like we out there by the pool in his Bermuda shorts.
Hey, I'm picking up a shade, man. I'm picking up a shade.
that first 65, 67, 68, that feels like 90. It's like, woo, man, that climate change, boy.
Hey, guys, I'm from Miami. This feels like winter for me, but I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Mark, I think the Sabonis is going to be a fan favorite out here, and I know you're going to enjoy calling his games, and I think he's going to do some good things here in Sacramento. We're going to miss Tyrese because, come on, man, you talk to him day in and day out, and fans feel the same way. We love Tyrese Halliburton, and it sucks that he's got to be the one to go in this deal, but I think the fans are really going to like Sabonis.
Yeah, they will. He's never going to leave a game and have the fans say, "Man, I don't think he gave us everything." He's not that. He's not that type of player. His motor runs in fifth speed the entire time, and couple that with his immense talent, he's going to be a game changer here in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Always a pleasure, Mark. Looking forward to listening to you on the call tonight, my brother. Thank you.
We got those bottles coming to you, Mark. We got to make that happen, man. You got my number, man. So let me know where I can send them, man. We got some bottles coming to you, man.
You got it. I love you guys. You guys do fantastic work, man. Keep it up.